So hi everyone, this is David from Hotspawn. Today we're joined by G2's mid laner Caps after
Hello.
the insane series in the LEC Versus Finals. So first of all, congrats on
Thank you. Thank
taking
you.
the victory and winning another title. That was an absolute banger. What's going on in your mind right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, I want to say a bit out of breath. I think the last game was a lot of screaming, a lot of excitement, and just all the emotions from it being like game 5 as well. It kind of just, it was a bit overwhelming to be honest. But I'm super grateful for the win. My teammates being there, all the fans as well for supporting us. Like it was just an amazing experience.
I kind of wanted to go through the last game because obviously you clutched it out at that Elder Dragon fight. It was an insane clutch, I think. It's probably.
Thank you.
You reminded me of Prime Caps, like one of the first Caps I remember seeing watching you when I first started watching LEC. How were the nerves within the team?
I mean, I think everyone was like really stressed out for sure. We just lost the fight, and like if they get Elder, they get Baron as well, and it was just gonna be probably a disaster from there. So, yeah, basically it was like a very exciting moment because, like Nico had to base, he was the low, so it was kind of like I was the only one alive, and I think those situations are always fun because at that point I kind of have like full agency, like I can kind of control whatever I want to do, and it doesn't really have to like I don't have to like look at someone. I can just to play my own. Of course, the situation was a bit tricky because like especially when Nivea have so much AoE damage, so I really want to kill the Maokai, but if I'm hitting the Maokai, I'm kind of hitting the Elder as well. So it became a bit tricky trying to kill the Maokai, and then all my teammates were like, "Oh, kill Maokai, kill Maokai." I'm like, "Yeah, guys, yeah, I know, I know." uh,
No, no, just
okay.
don't worry.
A few moments later.
So I kind of wanted to ask you about the series. It looked like you guys kind of struggled to close out a few games, especially game 3, game 4, where you guys lost. Is that a thing that you think you guys have to work on heading into Firstand?
I mean, definitely, I think our mid games were not the greatest. Like, I think we actually had good early game in like most of the games, and I think, like, I mean, I guess game 3 was kind of tough. Like, we was very good after the early game, and then we kind of threw, and then to be fair, it was kind of hard from then. So mainly it's like game 4, and even game 5 we could probably have made it a bit easier. But I think we definitely need to watch back the games. The thing is, it's always very different in like these like moments than it is in scrims, right? And when we talk about the scrims and we talk about like Fury and stuff like this, when it comes down to the moment and you have these like these crazy fights, right? And these crazy game states, it's definitely a little bit different. But we still need to have good logic behind what we're doing. And I think sometimes we're just not playing the best version, like the version that I know we can play like. So we will look to do better.
Do you think the competition is also making it more challenging for you guys? Because we've seen that MCoy had a long series against KC yesterday. KC had a long series against you today. Do you think that the overall level of the LEC this year compared to last year is higher?
I would say so. I mean, definitely, I think it's been a way more struggle of us compared to last summer. Even like the series before we had, like I think the series against Koi, we were like behind every game, and it was kind of us four kind of finding comebacks. And against KC, I mean, like we were saying, this game was like crazy, but I think the game we played against KC was like just as crazy before, right? With we were hitting their nexus, they're hitting our nexus. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely a lot of very close games. And I'm just very grateful that we came out on top of those.
Obviously, you guys qualify for Firstand. What are your expectations from the tournament, and what goals have you set for yourself?
I think the main expectations are just to like play the best version of League we can, right? Like I think especially at Worlds we learned like so much, and even from MSI as well. I think we learned honestly even more probably, and I think this will be a great like learning experience for us. I think if we apply all the things that we took away from last MSI and last Worlds, I think we can win it all. Like I think those things are just quite difficult to do in practice, and especially as I said, like these moments we have on this stage, it can be hard to trust the Fury or like be level-headed. You know, like it can definitely be tough. But I think if we can do that, we can definitely win. So that like the goal is to win. But more than that, the goal is also just that we can keep improving, keep leveling up our game. It's going to be a very, very long year, hopefully. Anyway, and we want to just keep taking lessons, keep doing like a little bit better every game. Like even the series, as we mentioned, like there's so many things we could do way better. And if we keep learning from this, by the end of the year we'll be unstoppable.
Is there any team that you're particularly interested in facing at Firstand? Among the ones that have qualified, because obviously like the LPL still has to decide their two, but if there's any team that you wanted to face.
I mean, probably just Gen.G, I guess. Like, I think they obviously, of course, LCK has just dominated internationally for definitely the last few years. And Gen.G, like, they did some crazy stuff in in LCK this split. So they are looking very, very strong. And I think if we can beat them, we can beat literally everyone, right? So I think they're the team to beat. Our eyes are definitely gonna be on them. And I hope we get to play them.
Would you have any message for Chovy?
Any message? I'm not sure. I mean, honestly, just I hope you bring your A game because we're gonna come to look to beat you.
Moving on, there are a couple of things. So the first one is obviously playing in Badalona here with the live crowd is obviously an insane experience. I kind of wanted to ask you, as someone who has played for like League of Legends for such a long time and then being obviously at so many live events, what's like one of your most memorable moments you had with the live audience?
I mean, I don't know. I've had so many great experiences. I think a few come to mind. I mean, honestly, I've like the first one I've ever played was in TCL with like Dark Passage, the final. I think that one was just like the first, and it was like such a great experience. And I think it was what like really sold me and become a pro player. So I think that one will always stick with me, because like you do a great play and you hear the crowd go crazy. Like this kind of feeling is like it's just different from like your solo queue game. It's different from even a scrim, right? Like even our regular season game, like it's just like a completely different feeling. And I think overall, the craziest was probably the semifinal against T1 when we were actually playing in Madrid, and like the crowd was like they were going crazy, you know, like we were like beating T1 at Worlds. Yeah, no European team had obviously beaten T1 at Worlds before, and like everyone was like seeing it in like real time and reacting, and the energy was just like through the roof. Everyone was so hyped and really, really cheering for us. So yeah, I think that one would probably be the craziest one I've had.
How's like listening through the headsets? Because I would assume like obviously the white noise kind of cancels it out, but do you actually still kind of hear the shouting in the process?
It depends on the tournament, but most of the time, like for example, this tournament, whenever the crowd was cheering, like when everyone cheers, right? You couldn't hear anything except that. Like we were trying to talk to each other, it's like you cannot hear any. Like we can't hear each other, you know. You can only hear the crowd cheering. So it's like, so I mean, you can definitely always hear, like you can always hear it. I think maybe one time we had like a booth or something where it's like okay, then it's like kind of cut off, but you can always hear it. And sometimes it's like maybe half the time I would say it's like so loud that you can't hear each other. Like we have to tell ourselves like, okay, guys, we just communicate with ping, so we like don't try to yell over the crowd because you just can't you can't hear anything.
Most people would probably at this point consider you the Western GOAT. I think most of based on your accolades, based on your milestones you have reached over the past 10 years, that's more than granted. There has been some ongoing rumors about you being inducted into the Hall of Legends. I'm not sure if you can talk about it, but if you actually were to be inducted into it, what would that mean to you? And then what would you like to be remembered, or like what would the Caps legacy?
Oh yeah, I mean I saw some rumors as well, and I mean it would definitely be like an insane honor, right? Like if I could like if I got chosen to be in the Hall of Legends, I think the thing I was always talking about is like the hope, right? Like I think I remember when I joined LEC or like ULCS back then in 2017, I think no one even really thought we could ever beat like a Korean team, even like not even the best Korean team or winning worlds. It's just like we couldn't beat the Korean teams, and the goal for most everyone was like winning EU and reaching further than that was considered impossible. And the one thing I would say is like I definitely brought a lot of hope to the region. I think us as G2, especially like 2019, 2020, we showed that it is possible. It definitely takes a lot of work and it is very difficult, but it can be done. And I think so many pro players in Europe, and I mean I guess across the world as well, have just gotten hope from that. So yeah. I mean again, it would just be a big honor if Riot would choose me, and I would definitely be grateful.
Perfect. Thank you a lot, Caps. Is there anything that you would like to add to round off the interview?
I mean, just another thank you to the fans. You know, I think it's amazing to get to play in front of like such a like insane crowd, and in these huge stadiums, it makes it so fun. It's what keeps me going, and I really just want to make you guys proud. And one day we're gonna be in front of such a crowd at the World Championship, and it's gonna be legendary. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you a lot, Caps. I'll let you go because obviously it's being very late. I really appreciate you for taking the time to talk with me. So good luck. Hopefully,
Thank you for the interview.
we'll be looking forward to your action in Brazil in the cup next 2 weeks. And then maybe if we have the time and the opportunity, we'll chat again.
Sounds good. Next time we talk, we'll be Firstand champions.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it if that happens.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, man.